Hey folks, it's Professor Kai here. I want to do a tutorial on the basic architecture of the M5 Core 2 unit that we have. So the M5 Core 2 actually comes with two components. The core unit, actually look at it from front, right? So the core unit, which has the USB-C connection into it, the orange part. Then on the bottom, this gray bit, that's the NeoPixel add-on strip. So the add-on strip, so you see that's where the LEDs are. So this is essentially 10 programmable multicolored LEDs. And if you look at the bottom of your unit, of your M5, you see these four hex keys, right? You can actually use Allen keys to open this up and detach the add-on unit. The idea is that you can swap out these units and stack them up, and that's why it's called M5 stack, right? So that makes this particular microcontroller system very, very easy to expand, and if you need more functionality. So, but the M5 that you have, well, it's plenty powerful. Inside, it's got an ESP32 chip, so visually represented here because I'm not opening this up for you for this video, and then also comes with a lot of really useful peripheral functionalities. So it's got an LCD in there, it's got microphone and speaker in there, it's got a motion sensor, so you can even write code to sense its spin and movement, kind of like if you think of those Wii controller from a decade ago. And there is also access to ESP32 pins through these Grove ports. So you can use those easy to plug Grove cables, which we'll use in some of our labs. Now, the easiest way to think about your M5 programmatically is to actually think about it as three components. There is the ESP32 chip, which is a CPU that is compatible with the Arduino platform, so you can use Arduino library with it, with MATLAB. That's why the MATLAB support package for Arduino works. And then there is the all the peripheral add-ons. That's the LCDs, the touch buttons on the bottom here, the speaker, the microphone, motion sensor, etc., etc. To access functionality with that, we need to make a separate connection. Then the third piece, I'll talk about connection in a bit. The third piece is the NeoPixel strip. So if you want to access functionality, if you just want the core Arduino functionalities, you only need to make a connection to ESP32 and using the Arduino function, so you connect to the chip. And if you want the peripheral functionality like the LCD or the microphone, right, that use our custom library called M5 Unified Library, and we need to use the add-on function to make a connection between, well, your computer and the periphery. So I think of that as the core 2. So ESP32 is the chip, and it's actually a lot of different microcontroller system use that. And the core 2, that's the core unit that we have, has all the peripheries. Then if you want to access the NeoPixel, you use the NeoPixel library, and you have to make another add-on connection. So to use all the functionalities, we have to use all three connections. But before we can connect to the core 2 peripheries and for the NeoPixels, we have to first connect to ESP32. So that's what this picture is showing. All right, so we talked about visually how this works. We're gonna go into our code. I've already figured out which port my M5 is going to connect to. It's the same computer, so I find it out once, I know, right? I plug it in, and now there's power in here. It's going to tell you all the libraries on there. And now the first thing we're going to do is we're going to make a connection between the ESP32 chip or the board, the Arduino board, if you think of it with Arduino language, and with the Arduino function. So what we'll do is we'll make a connection using the Arduino function. We'll send a parameter port string, so that's which port this M5 is connected to, and the board type. And now you know why we use the ESP32 Vroom Dev Kit C board type, because there's a ESP32 inside our M5, right? And we're going to put the result, which is going to be an object, into this variable called ESP32, just so that we keep it very clear in our head what is the connection we're creating. So this is a connection to ESP32, right? And it's, if you know object-oriented programming, we're creating an object with Arduino type, right? And so I didn't put these semicolon in the back, so it's going to give us a whole bunch of information here, and it's going to tell us the port is connected to, the board type, the different pins that's available for us to use. So these are pins that you can access through the Grove port on here. We actually have 3 of them on the M5, and the pin names here, and in later labs we'll look at this. And so now we have access to the base functionality of ESP32 and Arduino. So if we want to access the peripheries, like the LCD, we need to make a connection to the Core2. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna use the add-on function, and now we're gonna make a add-on. So this add-on function is a part of the MATLAB support package for Arduino. And so we're going to say, well, this particular add-on is connected to the ESP32 chip. So it's going through the connection we've already made, right? So, and this particular add-on uses the M5 Unified Library. So with that, it's going to make the connection, and now you have access to all the functionalities in the M5 Unified Library. So the easiest way I think of this is I'm going to write some code, right? So right now the LCD has a bunch of stuff on there, so I'm going to say LCD clear, and so that function, if we just do a help LCD clear, it clears the M5 LCD. Right, so I'm gonna do LCD clear, and then I say M5 core. So I'm clearing the LCD. I spelled this wrong. CLD LCD of the M5 core unit. Kind of that's how I think of it. Did I still write it wrong? Oh, M5Core2. I miswrote it because the variable I assigned that connection to is called M5Core2. Right, we can see that in our workspace. This is the connection variable. So because we're trying to control the periphery, we are sending the LCD clear function with this this variable that represents the connection, right? So then we can see LCD write, and we're going to write to the M5Core2, and then we're going to say hello world. And I'm sorry, the function is called LCD print. There you go, professor making mistakes. Hello world. And now you see that on my LCD screen it says hello world. And the name of the variable is not important. Like any variable, it's just easy for me to remember, right? So I could, it's already got a connection. I could even say something called Kai's M5, and I can assign the same thing to M5 core. So now I can, if I want to make it easy to remember, I can say LCD print Kai's M5. Hello, Professor Kai, something like that. There you go. Now it printed right after hello world, hello Professor Kai. All right, so now the last thing we're gonna show is we're gonna connect to the to the NeoPixel. So the way to do this, you can use the same code. You are going to do add ESP32. That's the connection to the particular chip, the Arduino chip. We're going to use the library Adafruit NeoPixel. That's the library we installed to control the NeoPixel strip. This is going through pin D25. Just use this. That's how we made the connection here, right? There are 10 LEDs on the strip. Its NeoPixel type is GRB, green, red, blue. You can use this verbatim and assign it to a variable and whatever variable used to store that connection object. And I just call it NeoPixel because it's easy, right? And I can now say, so you see that there's no LED that's lit up, right? So I can say right color, and that's why I got confused between LCD print and right color. So we're going to use right color, and we're going to say where do we write this? It's the NeoPixel strip. And so we're calling that NeoPixel. It's going through that particular connection, and the LED number. Let's turn LED 1 on, and we're gonna say red. And there you go. And just so now we know, we can also do other things like green. So now we turn it to green. There you go. You learn how to change the color of your M5. And the last thing we can do is we're going to power off. So we use the function power off, and the one we will power off is the core unit, so M5Core2. And then now everything is turned off. That's it. Good luck.